would you do if you were at the gas station and your favorite Seahawks player pulled up? If you're like Jason Lynch, you'd probably reach for your phone. Well, David, her family says she will be okay, but they admit they did what probably a lot of people did last night, and that is crack a window open so they could let some cooler air in. Unfortunately, the winds continue to blow tonight. That is a concern, and so is this hillside behind us. We have been watching over the last couple hours. The flames just come down closer and closer to homes. You can see that the group here has stopped. They're standing in the streets, some of them kneeling in the streets, and if you look right across the street, you can see that there are police in right here blocking the entrance to the freeway. When the homeowner's wife called him and told him she hadn't gotten a package she was expecting, he checked the surveillance camera and found out someone else had been there. This scene is still unfolding, and we haven't gotten a lot of official information from police, but what we believe is this white BMW that's behind me was the car that was involved in that hit and run. Last Friday night, a young woman was crossing State Route 7 when she was hit by a truck. She didn't have any identification on her, but she did have a tattoo. Marnie, that driver still hasn't been caught, but this road where the accident happened under the West Seattle Bridge, it's kind of a local shortcut. So the family of the victim thinks maybe the driver lives somewhere nearby.
I use this walker to get around, so I just hobble along in that.
John Macy is now out of the hospital.
I can do about 50-ish feet.
But his recovery is just beginning. 2 weeks ago, the 30-year-old was riding home on his bike in West Seattle when a car slammed into him.
The next thing I remember, it was Friday night, and I was in the hospital.
Instead of stopping to help, police say the driver sped off. John laid bleeding heavily in the street before David Peterson finally spotted him.
I kind of swerved off to the side to avoid it, and as I went by, I looked off to the left and saw feet.
John's dad says he would have likely died in the street if David hadn't discovered him when he did.
I'm just really relieved that there were some angels watching out over the whole thing.
But now that John's family knows he will survive, they want justice.
I'm struggling every day with the kind of person that would leave my son to die on the road. Accidents, I get it, they happen, but to abandon someone like that.
There would be no question that you would know that you hit something. There would definitely be probably some dents in the bumper, maybe on the hood, on the windshield itself.
John is hoping someone saw a car with damage like that because right now police say they don't have any leads in their investigation.
Somebody's got to know, and hopefully someone comes forward, because that would be the right thing to do.
He says he's not angry. He just wants to return to a normal life, and he wants answers.
I really just want to know what happened. You know, I'd like to know what I could have done to prevent getting run over.
That's it. That's the process.
Now, detectives do have one clue. They believe the right side mirror of the car got knocked off, and because of that, they believe that this vehicle was light metallic blue. They say anyone that might have information should call Seattle police. Reporting live in West Seattle, Tina Patel, Q13 Fox News.
When I'm knitting, you know, people always ask, what are you making?
This might look like a typical knitting group until you see what it is these ladies are knitting.
Yes, kind of fun there.
These handmade prosthetics are going to breast cancer survivors who need something to help them feel whole again. Barb DeMorist remembers the first knocker she got after undergoing a mastectomy in 2011.
And I took that and I put it in my regular bra. It didn't need a special camisole, and it was light, it was soft, it was huggable, it was perfect.
It was Barb's doctor who first told her about the alternative to expensive silicone prosthetics.
There's just too many people who get it.
Her friend Phyllis Kramer found a pattern online and knocked one out in a few hours.
The knockers truly put a joy into Barb's life. It all of a sudden put a smile back on her face at a really dark time in her life.
But it wasn't enough for Barb to feel good about herself again. She wanted to help other survivors. So she started recruiting knitters, asking them to donate their yarn and their time. It wasn't hard to find volunteers who had been touched by cancer.
When somebody's going through breast cancer, you want to help them, but you don't know how. And this is a tangible way you can.
Over the last 3 years, Phyllis has knit close to 300 knockers, but she doesn't plan on stopping anytime soon.
300's nothing. It's nothing compared to the number of mastectomies that's done a year.
That's why Barb wants to spread the word. Her dream is to have groups like this around the world.
I think that's what made the difference in my recovery was the vision, the enthusiasm, the excitement of looking out rather than all about me.
We begin tonight with breaking news as the stakes get higher over a possible U.S. strike against Syria. He says he lost his job because he's married to a man. Now the Seattle Archdiocese is weighing in. We'll talk about a huge weekend ahead at CenturyLink Field, a Sounders playoff game tomorrow, and then the Seahawks on Sunday afternoon. The DOT says there is nothing blocking Bertha, but the giant tunneling machine is still not moving. The child is now in state custody. Dana Rebick is live in Everett. Dana, where did they find this child? Those monkeys were infected with the simian version of HIV, which is very close to the human version. So you're heading down the road, you see another car being driven by no one at all.
This sounds incredible.
So how do you know what is kind of just typical child behavior and what's something that's more concerning? Well, let's talk about the weekend, because today was beautiful. Can we make it last?
Yeah, I think so.